Oh, yeah, it's all great. Renewables, renewables, renewables. Aren't we brilliant? Everything's fantastic. Well, why are we all skint?
We have moved to renewables a lot, Patrick. I mean, Grant Shapps is right. There are some days when 40% of electricity in the UK comes from renewables. Across the year, it's about 20-25% on average. That's because there are days, weeks even, when the wind doesn't blow and the sun doesn't shine, particularly during the winter months when demand for energy is highest. And I want to bring you an explanation here, because people ask me all the time, if renewables are so great, why are our energy bills so high? And they are really high. Have a look at this graphic. So these numbers are quite hard to get hold of and to put into a form that they can be compared across countries. I've done these calculations. These are residential end-user electricity prices. In other words, household energy bills per unit. And these units are, you'll have to trust me on this, Patrick, cent euros per kilowatt hour. What does that mean? That's how you measure electricity. Right. But just it's comparable, so we're comparing apples and apples. On the left there, you see 45.2 euros per cent euro kilowatt hour. That's the UK, right? In France, electricity is much, much cheaper. It's just 27.1. France, 70% of their electricity is nuclear. In Spain, it's even less. You got 20.9, 21 euros per kilowatt hour. A bit more in Germany, but still significantly less than the UK. And the EU average is about 25 per kilowatt hour. And look at the States. Under 19, that's because they've been fracking like crazy and they've got much, much, much cheaper energy. But the UK is an outlier. And why is that? I'm going to explain, Patrick. When you have renewables, OK, they're great when they work, but they often don't work, because the weather doesn't let them work. And we haven't found a way yet to properly store that renewable energy in a way that's economic. So that means having renewables in a country like the UK that isn't very sunny and where there's a lot of intermittency, means you have to have backup baseload. What does that mean? That means a way of just literally firing up energy at really short notice so we don't have power cuts, right? Now, the only way you can do that, nuclear can't do that. You can't just go zzz and turn up nuclear. It takes a long time. The only way you can instantly have energy, literally at the flick of a switch, is coal. Well, we're not doing that. Coal has gone from 40% of our electricity in the year 2000 to just 2% now. So the UK has made huge progress there. The only way you can do it outside of coal is gas-fired power stations. You literally have to fire them up. And the only way you can fire up gas-fired power stations to replace renewables is having, whole power stations just sitting there waiting for the sun not to shine and the wind not to blow. And to do that, Patrick, is really, really expensive, because you have to keep the staff, they have to keep the thing heated up. You have to basically run a power station without getting much revenue for it, because you only use it intermittently, which puts up the unit cost of gas-fired power across the board, the average unit cost. So to facilitate renewables, to find space in our energy mix for renewables while we still have baseload, it means the price of everything goes up, because you have to have all these gas-fired power stations on standby. Now, you won't hear that explained very often on national television, but that is why our unit costs are so high, because as we've gone for more renewables pushes up the price of everything, because you have to have these gas-fired power stations on site.
So the renewables thing, which everybody is championing, people like Grant Shapps are championing, loads of people are there saying, this is absolutely great. What they neglect to tell you is that it is driving the prices up.
It is, but simply because we're doing renewables before we found a way to store the renewables, right? And the only way you can do the renewables and get the virtue signalling loveliness of, oh, we're all renewables,
which is why they're doing it,
is by having gas-fired power on standby, which is really, really expensive and pushes up.
Right.
By the way, the renewables people, they make loads of money because their cost of generation is cheap. But because of this gas-fired power standby, the marginal cost of electricity in the UK is determined by the price of gas. So they get a high price even though they have very low generation. No wonder people like investing in renewables.
Of course.
But it means that isn't passed on. And also, the government gets a massive stealth tax from this because it taxes the renewables at source, so they get lots of money for that. But the renewables are only got that money to give the government in tax because we're paying these high prices.
Liam, thank you very, very much. Liam Halligan there, our economics and business editor. Maybe give the old renewables discussion a sideways glance the next time you hear someone banging on about what a great thing it is. Who's it really pleasing?